Hello and welcome you watching the Thursday edition of This Is Exclusive. Ladies and gentlemen, this is 2023's biggest political scam. Cash for query, which has rocked the Trinamool Congress parliamentarian Mahua Moitra. Remember, stinging allegations have been levelled against her, and now the ethics panel has adopted a report by which they've essentially recommended that she should be suspended. Remember, this after allegations that were levelled against her about asking questions on the floor of the parliament at the behest of a businessman. Remember, this complaint first came in from a lawyer, Jay Anand, and thereafter being picked up by fellow parliamentarian Nishikant Dubey. Letter was thereafter written to the Lok Sabha Speaker, and not just that, also before the ethics panel, based on which a full-fledged investigation was rather carried out by the ethics panel. We are broadcasting outside the residence of one ethics panel member who spoke to Republic TV a short while back. We'll play out that first reaction coming in from the ethics panel members as to what really transpired. Ladies and gentlemen, just to put this into perspective, Trinamool Congress parliamentarian Mahua Moitra has essentially been saying that the questions that were asked in the panel during the deposition, these were questions which were personal in nature. Is that the case? The transcripts of the very questions that were asked to her at the deposition seems to suggest something completely different. In fact, she is also threatened that she is going to make it completely public, because she essentially believes that the questions that were asked to her were personal in nature. An allegation which has been refuted by the ethics panel members. In fact, we'll play out that interview in a short while from now. But up first, these are the headlines we are tracking for you at this hour. Ethics panel adopts report recommending expulsion of Trinamool Congress parliamentarian Mahua Moitra by majority. Ethics panel report to be sent to Lok Sabha Speaker. Now, who will decide Trinamool Congress parliamentarian's fate? Congress MP Praneeth Kaur among the panel members who backed Mahua's expulsion. BJP continues to protest against Nitish Kumar for his vulgar speech, demands his resignation. Ahead of Diwali, Yogi Adityanath chairs important cabinet meeting in Ayodhya. Israel continues to demolish terror infrastructure. 130 terror tunnel entrances have been destroyed in Gaza so far. Well, we're reporting live from outside ethics panel member Dr. Rajdeep Roy's residence. A short while back, Dr. Rajdeep Roy spoke to Republic TV. What are the allegations that have been levelled against Trinamool Congress parliamentarian Mahua Moitra? This was based on a complaint that was filed by Jay Anand and picked up by fellow parliamentarian Nishikant Dubey. The allegation was this, that Trinamool Congress parliamentarian Mahua Moitra on the floor of the parliament was actually asking questions against Adani Group at the behest of her close associate and friend, businessman Anish Hiranandani. Now, it is important to point out here the fact that you have the Hiranandanis as a direct competition to the Adani Group. Were these questions being asked in lieu of expensive gifts that she allegedly received from the Hiranandanis? It is important to point out here that she has admitted to the fact that her parliamentary login ID, details of which were already shared with the Hiranandani, and also the fact that there were logins that were made not from India but from outside India. Not once but 47 times. That's the allegation that has been leveled against her. Now this 500-page report that has been adopted roughly around 4:15 this evening by a majority of panel members recommending that she should be expelled. Now the reason essentially being that there are allegations of bribery and the fact that there could be national security ramifications. That is exactly why the Lokpal essentially recommending that the Central Bureau of Investigation should also step in. What we understand by way of sources within the agency is that a preliminary inquiry is already underway. Would this actually pave the way for an FIR to be registered against Trinamool Congress parliamentarian Mahua Moitra? That's one aspect for which we will have to wait and watch. But up first, let's put out that full report as to what has really transpired in the last few weeks. Because remember, this is one stinging allegation that has been leveled against Trinamool Congress parliamentarian Mahua Moitra, and the very fact that she appears to be completely isolated, given the fact that for the first time, only just about a few hours ago, you've had Abhishek Banerjee perhaps stepping in and supporting Mahua Moitra, but before that, not a single India Alliance member, or for that matter, even her own party colleagues have not really stepped up for Mahua Moitra. So what exactly are the reasons for which Trinamool Congress has dumped Mahua Moitra? Take a look at this report and then we play out those exclusive responses that are coming in.
Embroiled in cash for query charge, this TMC MP faces expulsion. The Ethics Committee has recommended the expulsion of Mahua Moitra, pressing charges of serious misdemeanor. Panel has adopted report on Mahua.
देखिए, आज के मीटिंग का उद्देश्य केवल एक था, जो महुआ मोइत्रा पे अनैतिक आचरण का आरोप था। उसकी विस्तृत जांच जो कमेटी के द्वारा किया गया था, उसको विस्तृत रिपोर्ट और अपने प्रस्ताव के साथ उस रिपोर्ट को एडॉप्ट करने का एजेंडा था और उस पर कमेटी द्वारा बैठा गया। रिपोर्ट को बहुमत के साथ एडॉप्ट किया गया। एडॉप्ट करने के बाद ये रिपोर्ट माननीय लोकसभा स्पीकर को प्रेषित की गई है।
6 MPs, which also included a Congress MP, voted in favour of expelling Mahua Moitra, while 4 others opted out of voting against the TMC MP.
So they adopted by the Ethics Committee panel. The meeting didn't go on for more than half an hour, just 30 minutes meeting. As soon as the members of the Ethics Committee arrived, they sat, they discussed on the draft report. They asked each and every members who all are in favor of the draft report. There were 6 MPs, majorly from the BJP party only, who were in favor of the draft report, while the leaders like Giridhari Yadav, Danish Ali, V. Vethlingam, Natraj, these 4 were against the draft report and they were against the expulsion of Mahua Moitra.
The report will now be sent to the Lok Sabha Speaker and Mahua could challenge the expulsion. However, the charges against Mahua Moitra are serious. Will she be expelled? Bureau Report, Republic TV.
Getting in some more breaking news right now, the recommendations of the draft report would be submitted before the Speaker tomorrow. The Speaker likely to officially respond to the recommendation in the coming week. Remember, this is the draft which has been adopted by the ethics panel. In fact, a confirmation now coming in from the ethics panel members that this is going to be submitted before the Speaker. So the prerogative of taking it further would be that of the Speaker, whether at all they are going to go ahead with the expulsion of Trinamool Congress parliamentarian. In fact, the details of that particular report, which clearly goes on to indicate that after a thorough investigation that was done by the panel, they've essentially come to a conclusion that this was a contempt of house. The reason being, reason number 1, that login ID of the parliamentarian was actually shared with a private person. And remember, that goes completely against the protocol and perhaps also has a direct national security ramification. And that is the reason why perhaps we see this particular recommendation has been made. The second very important point as to why exactly the panel members essentially feel the need to take such a decision is because there is a bribery allegation to it. Remember, Darshit Hiranandani has already has claimed that expensive gifts were given to the parliamentarian. And this is something that hasn't been refuted by the parliamentarian herself. And more importantly, questions that are essentially being asked. Were these questions that were asked on the floor of the parliament, was it at the behest of Dr. Kiran Nandani? And if it was, then did she actually take money, or for that matter, expensive gifts in lieu of that? And that is the reason why the ethics panel has now come to a conclusion by majority that the decision to be taken that this is nothing but a contempt of house and expulsion should actually take place. That's the details that we're getting in. Perhaps we could also play out some of the reactions that are coming in from the ethics panel members. We've also spoken to the chairman of ethics panel, Vinod Sodkar, a while back, and also ethics panel member Rajdeep Roy, who's essentially spoken about two very key aspects. The very fact that the allegation that was levelled by Trinamool Congress parliamentarian, that questions that were asked were perhaps personal in nature, something that has been completely refuted. Listen in to what Dr. Rajdeep Roy, an ethics panel member, had to essentially say about the allegations that have been levelled by Trinamool Congress parliamentarian, whether at all the questions that were asked to her during her deposition, were they actually personal in nature, or was this a bluff on the part of the Trinamool Congress parliamentarian? Listen in to what Dr. Rajdeep Roy had to say.
Look, the draft report was in the process of being made for the last few days. After almost a report of around 500 pages, it was circulated to all the members of the ethics panel yesterday at around 6. We got our copy. Everybody got their copy. Everybody had a time to study this. And today, as because the agenda was very plain and simple, it was only adoption of the report. Whether you agree to it or you don't agree to it, that was the main agenda. So when we set for the meeting, there were about 10 members and all. 4 of them gave a dissent note saying that they do not agree with the report. 6 of the members gave this thing that they agree with the report. So we adopted the report, and we have recommended the passage of this report to the table of Honorable Speaker Om Birlaji, and we hope that he will take a decision in the coming days.
Any discussion did happen on the dissent note? Because we saw Danish Ali and the other opposition leaders speaking that the BJP leaders are violating the rules by continuously speaking in public.
Look, the basic issue is they are the ones who have gone to public with all these and all. That day, when they walked out on 2nd of November, they made the whole world know about their, allegation against the speaker. Today also, the chairman was in a mood to listen to them. They gave him an ample of opportunity to talk and all. Mr. Danish Ali, in his usual self, started shouting and yelling and screaming at the top of his voice. When then it was our chairman who said that if you keep on telling like this, then I will ask this thing to vote, and after the vote we will decide what to do. So he went on shouting. So after that, chairman sir said, okay, we will put this thing issue to vote. That issue was put to vote. Then 6-4 was the mandate, and we went ahead. We passed this thing resolution of adopting this and giving it to the speaker.
Mr. Rajdeep, one more thing about Danish Ali, because in draft report it was also mentioned to admonish Danish Ali for mounting and twisting the questions of Vinod Sonkar in public forum. Do you agree with this? And recommendations have been made to admonish him from the ethics committee panel?
Absolutely. We recommend this because he was the one on day one also. He started yelling, disrupting the entire process. He was in this thing to do it in the second meeting also, and in the second meeting it was he who instigated Mahua Moitra and Girdhari Yadavji to create a ruckus in the house when the meeting was going on. He was the one who instigated Mahua Moitra to come out of the meeting and all. So obviously decision has to be taken on his activities and his conduct also.
One more thing, there are allegations against 6 more MPs as well, that they are also involved in cash for Kyori Rao. Do we expect that matter also to be taken up by ethics committee panel soon?
Look, this is outside the purview of this right now. If there are any such issues coming and any such complaint coming, at an appropriate time and place, everything will be taken. No such serious matter will go unheard from the Indian Parliament.
Opposition leaders were continuously stating that a warning should be given, and also ethics committee panel is not the right place, not the right platform where such matters should be taken up. This Danish Ali also spoke and Uttam Reddy also spoke. What's your response to them?
Look, in last about 12-13 years back, when Sri Pranab Mukherjee G was heading a committee like this. Decision was taken within 9 days against 11 MPs, and all of them are expelled from the house. Giving them a time, it is not a show cause notice that you are issuing. It is a serious matter of national security. You have to understand this. It is not a child's play you are dealing with. You are giving your login ID to someone who's sitting some 1,000 miles away from the country. And if it lands with someone who is working against the interest of our country, will you not take a decision? Will you take it very simply, turn a blind eye to all these, saying that no, she should be, just given a warning and made this thing, let her go? It is not done. Diplomacy and politics in this way does not run the country.
Now, when the recommendation of expulsion have been suggested and mentioned in the draft report, what could be the time span of expulsion? It will be just for 17th Lok Sabha, or it could go beyond. Or if we talk about the reminiscent of 2005 December, Cash for Kyori Rao, will it be like that? What will be what the law suggests?
Look, this will be looked after by the speaker. It is not within my ambit to make a comment on this. I have no right to actually. So obviously this falls within the purview of the office of Honorable Speaker. He will decide on all.
Mr. Rajdeep, one more thing. You all have also mentioned. You all have also mentioned in the draft report recommendation that rules should be framed for unruly, for those sort of things, because to stop these unruly MPs, to not conduct such behavior. What are those things?
We will sit. We have said we have held 2 meetings before this cash for queries scam broke out. We could not come to this thing, but it's in the process of it. Obviously, there are 15 members. Everybody will give their opinion. We'll frame the rules as early as possible. But it does not mean that if the rules are not framed, you can get away with some sort of a scam, some sort of an unethical behavior you conduct, and you get away. You hide on this thing of that rules are not framed, so you cannot take any action against me. That is not done.
Rajdeep, so one more thing, which the opposition leaders were continuously stating about NIC login credential. They stated that during 2019 and from 2019 to till now, there have been no rule and guideline that they can't share their login credential with anyone. Many MPs have been already doing it. There are not some set of rules which have been told by the Secretariat to them. What's your response to them?
There are definitely some do's and don'ts which have been told to the MPs. They have been said that you can share your login with person who are authorized by you. They are the only ones who can log in, and then you do not give your access to any people, any Tom, Dick and Harry. So we as a member, we were following those do's and don'ts very aptly. In fact, I have a PS who handles my questions. I handle my question. So only when I pass my OTP to him, he is the one who is entitled. Anyone from my constituency or any friend of mine is not entitled to ask question on my behalf. That has to be understood by everybody. And every MP in the parliament follows this. Now, there are certain people who may not follow this. Now they will listen what is happening in the ethics committee, and we hope that this is followed. But that does not mean anywhere lessen the sort of unethical behavior or the unprincipled behavior of Ms. Moitra that she has done, like giving a login ID to someone who's operating her portal from outside the country.
One more thing, sir. Mahua Moitra was continuously stating that there's no evidence against her. This is a political vendetta. If we talk about evidence, yes.
There is enough evidence against her. There is, if you go, we cannot give you an access, but if you go through the report of the Ministry of Information and Technology, if you go through the report of Home Ministry, if you go through the report of External Affairs Ministry, there are enough evidence which they are turning a blind eye to. They are not understanding the seriousness of it. They are not understanding the implication of this. They are not understanding the fact that if they get away with it, there will be another set of public representative, both MPs and MLAs in the future in the country, who will ask question in lieu of cash, and you will not be in a position to take any decision. We should not, as a democratic republic, come to that pass where people are asking such questions in lieu of cash, and we are not in a position to take any disciplinary action against them, because it will set a precedence like you have not taken any action against Mahua Moitra.
I know, so you are getting late. I'll just ask one last question. My one last question is, has the committee already sent the draft report recommendation to Lok Sabha Speaker, or it will be sent in coming 1 or 2 days? And how long will it take for a final decision on this?
Look, sending of a report hardly takes time. People should understand. Once the meeting is over, the resolution is accepted now or within 2 hours or 4 hours. Obviously, it will go to him. And once it goes to his table, obviously, it is the prerogative of the Honorable Speaker to take a decision or proceed on it.
So this is BJP MP Rajdeep Roy putting a light and telling our viewers in detail exactly what happened in Ethics Committee meeting today and the draft report which already had been sent out to the Lok Sabha Speaker's office. Harsha Chandwani along with video journalist Firdaus for Republic TV.
On the other side, BJP continues to protest against Nitish Kumar for his vulgar speech, demands his resignation. Head of Delhi, Yogi Adityanath chairs important cabinet meeting in Ayodhya.
In the India Today Best Universities 2023 survey, released recently, India's #1 ranked universities in various streams are JNU Delhi, Amity University, AIIMS Delhi, IIT Delhi, and National Law School, Bengaluru.
पता नहीं रस्सी दूसरे खाने हो रहा हूँ ना, इसके बड़े बड़े लोग हैं, यहाँ तक कि यहाँ के कोई नेता नहीं छुड़ा, बड़े बड़े लोग भाई, यहाँ पुलिस वाले सस्पेंड हो गए इस चक्कर में।
एक विधायक भी पैसा मांग रहे सीधा
मुँह खोल रहे हैं,
पैसे की डिमांड किसके थ्रू करते हैं ये लोग?
और कुछ जैसे कि यहाँ जो पकड़ाए हैं सतीश चंद्राकर और
हाँ ASI
क्या वर्मा उससे
विनोद वर्मा
का नाम ले दिया कि यहाँ का व्यापारी नाम दिया था महीनों लगे।
इजराइल और हमास के बीच युद्ध होते महीने भर से ज्यादा का वक्त हो चुका है, लेकिन कट्टरता और क्रूरता की ये तस्वीरें हैरान करती। सिर्फ यही घर नहीं, हर घर में इसी तरह के तबाही के निशान देखने को मिल रहे हैं। हर तरफ आपको देखिए सिर्फ जली हुई चीजें नजर आ रही हैं, जो बता रही हैं हमास ने सारी क्रूरता की हदें पार कर दी। वो दहशतगर्द जब अंदर घुसते हैं, अभी भी आप धमाके की आवाज सुन रहे हैं। आतंक का विरोध बहुत जरूरी है और वो जो भी देश समर्थन कर रहे हैं, सपोर्ट कर रहे हैं, उन्हें अब ये समझना होगा और इसके खिलाफ आवाज उठानी होगी। तस्वीरें हम लगातार दिखा रहे हैं। जोरदार धमाका हुआ, गाड़ी को नुकसान पहुंचा है। हम यहाँ पर रिपोर्ट करने पहुंचे थे और अचानक जोरदार अलर्ट जारी किया गया और उसके बाद ये तस्वीर निकलकर सामने आई जहाँ धमाका हुआ है।
तकरीबन 50 मीटर की दूरी पर थे जब ये प्रोजेक्टाइल जो है वो यहाँ पर आकर गिरता है।
गुरसमन, ये जो हम तस्वीरें दिखा रहे हैं, ये इम्पैक्टफुल अटैक इसलिए किया गया क्योंकि हमास को कहीं न कहीं अब बॉर्डर लाइन करने की कोशिश हो रही है।
हम लोग नीचे थे, वही कारण है कि बच पाए, अदरवाइज जो इसके शेल्स थे, जो इसके फ्रेगमेंट्स थे, वो भी लग सकते थे और उससे भी नुकसान हो सकता था।
Staying with a continued focus on that big political story developing with Trinamool Congress parliamentarian Mahua Moitra, who's now been recommended for an expulsion by the ethics panel. In fact, in a short while from now, we'll put out full details of what exactly have the 15-member panel, the ethics panel, what have they essentially decided and why exactly have they come to such a majority. If you take a look at the fine print of that particular report, the draft report which was adopted this evening, there is a clear details that have been put out with regards to as to why exactly after considered deliberation on this entire matter they've come to that conclusion. This after the deposition of Mahua Moitra and the other stakeholders, starting from Jay Ananta to Nishikant Dubey, and of course that affidavit that also came in from Mr. Hiranandani. Keeping all that in mind, two very key aspects have been looked into this particular draft report. Number one is with regards to whether at all the parliamentary login ID was shared or not, and secondly there are bribe allegations, details of which finally the ethics panel have basically come to a conclusion. The very fact that this was decided because they believe that this was nothing but a contempt of house. That is the reason why they've recommended expulsion of Trinamool Congress parliamentarian Mahua Moitra from the 17th Lok Sabha. In fact, this morning, my colleague Anuj also spoke to the chairman of the ethics panel, Virod Sodkar. Listen in to what the chairman of the ethics panel had to say.
आज क्या रहा मीटिंग? देखिए, आज के मीटिंग का उद्देश्य केवल एक था, जो महुआ मोइत्रा पे अनैतिक आचरण का आरोप था, उसकी विस्तृत जांच जो कमेटी के द्वारा किया गया था, उसको विस्तृत रिपोर्ट और अपने प्रस्ताव के साथ उस रिपोर्ट को एडॉप्ट करने का एजेंडा था और उस पर कमेटी द्वारा बैठा गया। रिपोर्ट को बहुमत के साथ एडॉप्ट किया गया। एडॉप्ट करने के बाद ये रिपोर्ट माननीय लोकसभा स्पीकर को प्रेषित की गई है।
सर, कांग्रेस की जो सांसद हैं प्रणीत कौर, जो मेंबर भी हैं एथिक्स कमेटी की, उन्होंने फेवर में वोट करा और महुआ के अगेंस्ट गई। तो सर, क्या कुछ उनका कहना था, क्या उनके पॉइंट्स रखे गए?
देखिए, वो न तो महुआ के अगेंस्ट की है और ना तो किसी के समर्थन में। उन्हें अपनी अंतरात्मा पे जिस प्रकार से महुआ मोइत्रा के अनैतिक आचरण के कारण पार्लियामेंट की गरिमा को धक्का लगा था, पार्लियामेंट के सदस्यों के गरिमा को धक्का लग रहा था, उसको बचाने के लिए एक निर्णय लिया है और उन्होंने इस प्रस्ताव को पारित कराने में अपना बहुमूल्य योगदान दिया है।
On the other side, BJP continues to protest against Nitish Kumar for his vulgar speech, demands his resignation. All this and much more on the other side.
तस्वीरें हम लगातार दिखा रहे हैं। जोरदार धमाका हुआ, गाड़ी को नुकसान पहुंचा है। हम यहाँ पर रिपोर्ट करने पहुंचे तो और अचानक जोरदार अलर्ट जारी किया गया और उसके बाद ये तस्वीर निकलकर सामने आई जहाँ धमाका हुआ है।
तकरीबन 50 मीटर की दूरी पर थे जब ये प्रोजेक्टाइल जो है वो यहाँ पर आकर गिरता है।
गुरसमन, ये जो हम तस्वीरें दिखा रहे हैं, ये इम्पैक्टफुल अटैक इसलिए किया गया क्योंकि हमास को कहीं न कहीं बॉर्डर लाइन करने की कोशिश हो रही है।
हम लोग नीचे थे, वही कारण है कि बच पाए, अदरवाइज जो इसके शेल्स थे, जो इसके फ्रेगमेंट्स थे, वो भी लग सकते थे और उससे भी नुकसान हो सकता था।
महादेव के नाम पर भी घोटाला कर दिया।
ये लोग सीधा लड़ाई लड़ नहीं सकते।
सबने मन बना लिया शिवराज सिंह जी को विदा करेंगे।
जब पुरानी सरकार थी, घर वापिस कर दिए गरीबों के, घर बनाए ही नहीं।
राहुल आएंगे तो वैसी भी टीम है।
कांग्रेस वो पार्टी है
जो गरीबों के हक का पैसा छीन लेती है।
कह रहा हूँ तो पतंगे रस्सी दूसरे खाने बोल रहा हूँ ना, इस तरह बड़े बड़े लोग हैं, यहाँ तक कि यहाँ के कोई नेता नहीं छुड़ा है। बड़े बड़े लोग भाई, यहाँ सिग्नल पुलिस वाले सस्पेंड हो गए एक चक्कर में।
एक विधायक भी पैसा मांग रहे सीधा
मुंह खोल रहे हैं।
पैसे की डिमांड किसके थ्रू करते हैं ये लोग?
होगा कुछ जैसे कि यहाँ जो पकड़ाए हैं सतीश चंद्राकर और
हाँ ASI
क्या वर्मा उससे
विनोद वर्मा
का नाम ले दिया कि यहाँ का व्यापारी नाम लिया था महीनों लगे। ये पूरी प्रकार से चला रहे हैं। ये जो उबेड़ ये सभी चीज छोटे बने वो पूरा टोटल में मतलब घूम लगते हैं।
आपको लगता है कि उसको सब कुछ पता है कि क्या हो रहा है?
देखिए, जैसा मुझे समझ में ये आया कि मैं तो CM साहब को काफ़ी लंबी बड़ी बात होती थी, हमेशा जब भी हाउस में आते थे तो 3-4 चीज़ मुझे क्लियर हुआ कि हो रहा है ये पता था, इंटेंसिटी इतना ज़्यादा है ये नहीं पता।
The ethics panel adopts a report recommending expulsion of the TMC MP Mahua Moitra by a majority. Ethics panel report now to be sent to the Lok Sabha Speaker, who will then decide the TMC MP's fate. Congress MP Praneeth Kaur is among the panel members who actually backed Mahua's expulsion. The BJP continues to protest against Nitish Kumar for his vulgar and crass speech. They demand his resignation. Ahead of Diwali, Yogi Adityanath chairs an important cabinet meeting in Ayodhya. And Israel continues to demolish the terror infrastructure. 130 terror tunnels entrances have been destroyed in Gaza so far. So what happens to Mahua Moitra? Would she be expelled? Would she appeal against that decision in case the Lok Sabha Speaker takes that decision? Remember, that's a very, very important story that we continue to track, a story that will only get bigger because there is a lot of politics into all this. There is also a question of national. Forget, the panel has also spoken of a CBI probe, essentially to be able to understand the implications on national security, about the quid pro quo allegations, and also about the fact whether money has changed hands. They want to study the money trail. Let's get in Shaban, who's also tracking that story. Then we'll also get in Harsha, Abhishek, and our other colleagues who are all tracking that story for us this evening. Shaban, to you first. What do we know about the process from here on? You know, the report goes